Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by
Clean water is one of our most valuable resources. Conserving it should be all of our responsibility. Remember every day to make every drop count. Wash full loads, take shorter showers, turn off your faucet. Water, use it wisely. Let's commit to conserve.
and by Madarva, providing mobile vision and hearing screenings to prepare preschoolers for kindergarten. The Flying Squirrels are back from the AllStar Break and ready to take off in the second half of the season. This week we will check in with All-Stars Slade Heathcott, Tyler Sear, and CJ Hinojosa to see how they performed in New Hampshire during the Eastern League's Midsummer Classic. There are some new faces that have populated the Richmond roster, and we get to go one-on-one with one of them as reliever Seth Rosin joins the crew in studio. The Squirrels added 6 players, some old and some new, at the start of this month, hoping to solidify the roster heading into the dog days of summer. We break it all down for you right now on Flying Squirrels Insider.
See, check it out. Check it out in here. Beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains. Look at that view. Kayaking, swimming. It's an all-star break, huh?
If you want to call it that. Hold on one sec. I actually have some better ones.
Okay.
And
looked like you had some fun too, huh? Ooh.
Oh, that's not good.
No? Family.
See,
Good
yeah,
time.
that's my grandmother.
Hey, we're back here. Hey, welcome back into Flying Squirrels Insider. Jay Burnham alongside Sam Ravitch. We had a couple of days off for the All-Star break. Some of the Flying Squirrels did not, however, representing the Eastern League in the Midsummer Classic. We're going to dive into the second half of the season as that's about to begin. But first, we'd like to remind you, you can text us to win free stuff, FSI, to 63975 with mobile marketing services provided by Opt-in Technologies. Message and data rates may apply. Also, a big thanks to our sponsors, including Utility Buddy from the City of Richmond Department of Public Utilities, and makes us aware of Richmond's natural gas safety program. If you cook or heat with natural gas, then you live near a natural gas pipeline. If you expose or cause damage to a pipeline, no matter how minor it might seem, call 646-7000. Also, big thanks to the folks at Madarva in providing their vision and hearing screening program, an educational program with a screening component, providing free state-of-the-art vision and hearing screenings to children about to enter kindergarten. You can check them out at screening@madarva.com. With that said, we'll talk about what transpired in the first half of the season and also get into half number 2. And Sam, let's lead today with CJ Hinojosa as we were going into the All-Star break. Eastern League grabbing him to represent the Western Division in the Midsummer Classic, and it was well-deserved.
It certainly was, and after getting off to the start that he did, he was batting .222 in May, Jay, and then turned it around in June, .315. Now in July, .484. It's amazing what he has been able to do at the plate, and he's a very determined guy. When something's not working, he's going to find a way to fix it. He changed some things mechanically that we talked about on the Flying Squirrels pregame show as well. He was nice enough to join us, and what he did was he really opened up his stance. And what that does is it allowed him to get out in front of the ball and get some of those off-speed pitches towards the front of the zone. The average shows.
Yeah, without question. The offense is one thing, but how about the defenses he's been able to provide, not only at shortstop, but at third and second as well?
And he's a guy that says, look, I want to play in the game. It doesn't really matter where I'm playing. He told us that at the beginning of the season when he arrived in Richmond. He said, look, I'll play anywhere in the infield. It doesn't matter. As long as I'm in the game and I can help this team win, that's what I want to do.
There's a chance that he makes it to the big leagues at some point in the near future.
There is, and just because he's only 22 years old, he's got a lot of young potential, and they talk about upside. That's a big thing that scouts talk about, the ceiling. His ceiling, he doesn't really have one right now, just because he has so much room to improve, and he's already doing it, and we're seeing it this season. Also
seeing some power added in there as well. So CJ Hinojosa, the Squirrels are looking for him to lead the way, along with some new faces for the Flying Squirrels, as the Giants have seen a bit of shifting throughout their minor league systems. They've gone to the Atlantic League, the independent leagues, and have signed some players, including 3 out of Lancaster and the Barnstormers.
Yeah, and these guys, Casey Hobson, Cody Hall, a guy who has been with the Richmond Flying Squirrels before, Nate Reed as well, another one of those guys. And these guys can help the Flying Squirrels. And I think one, for the Giants to notice that there was a problem at the AA level, and they fix it. That's kind of the big win there. And you add some of these guys that have had experience in the league as well, and they're helping the team, whether it be at the bullpen side. Casey Hobson with 3 home runs. He's got 7 RBIs in 9 games, Jeff.
Yeah, and the Squirrels only had 10 home runs in all of April. They already have 8 in the month of July by adding Hobson through just 8 games. All right, so Hobson along with left-hander Nate Reed, and you mentioned Cody Hall, who was throwing in the upper 90s when the Giants were able to pluck him away from Lancaster. So it's unique that 3 guys are coming over from independent baseball all at once to join the team.
And in the independent leagues, in the Atlantic League, it's one of the best, amongst the ranks. And to go and pluck these guys out of there, the Giants have done their work. They've done their scouting. They know many of these guys, and we asked them, how did you come back into organizational baseball? And they said, look, we have been talking about this with the Giants for quite a while now, and now the time was right, and they worked it out.
Anybody throwing 97 certainly deserves an opportunity. Cody Hall is already impressed for the Flying Squirrels. Now Richmond also adding another pitcher with big league experience, a guy that did not pitch all of last season. However, if you go to a couple of years ago, Vic Black was a dominant force in the New York Mets lineup in the bullpen, and now he's pitching for the Flying Squirrels.
He is, and look, I mean, when you see what he did for the Mets back in 2014, he had a 2.60 ERA in 34 2/3 innings pitched. He really helped the Mets, a team that had started to build up their pitching prospects. And Vic Black, now that he's here with Richmond, you can't really get any better than that. A guy with big league experience, he knows where the ball is going. We talked about fastball command all season. He has that.
29 years of age, a guy that came through this level with Altoona, was lights out, traded to the Mets, and then coming back from an injury. So you're seeing some, low-risk signings for the San Francisco Giants, saying if this guy can get back to where his fastball was in the mid-90s, he can certainly help the big league bullpen.
Yeah, and I think the bullpen has kind of been an area of ifs and buts so far this season. And what Vic Black does, and what all of these other guys do, like Seth Rosin is going to join us in a little bit, it just adds some veteran presence. And we talked about it as well. Some of these younger pitchers look up to these guys and they say, I want to pitch at this talent level. I want to get to where they have gotten to. And I think it just increases that mindset of, hey, we can be better as a team in the bullpen.
All right. Only a couple minutes left. Let's talk about guys going right from Richmond to the big leagues. This doesn't happen all the time, but scooping up from AA, a couple of players this season. We've already seen 3 guys make the jump from Richmond to San Francisco. That's a first in franchise history. And most recently, it was Miguel Gomez.
You can't say enough about what Miguel Gomez has done for this team, Jay. So far in this year, what he's done is provide extra base hits, RBIs, batting average. I mean, he led the Eastern League in batting average for the majority of the time that he was here. Now goes up to the major leagues, gets his first big league hit, and you really are happy for these guys when they get to the next level because it shows that things are working at the lower levels.
Yeah, Gomez got called up on last Friday and made his big league debut in a pinch-hitting role, and then his first big league hit, as Sam mentions, a game-tying single. The Squirrels were on the bus heading back from Bowie to Richmond, and the whole team was watching on the computer screen to see if Gomez would get a hit, and he did. It was a fun moment.
That's exciting because everybody wants, and they're rooting for these players. They want to see their other guys succeed, and Gomez is well on his way to doing just that.
And now the guys know at this level there's an opportunity. You can jump right from Richmond to the big leagues. And Sam, it's going to be an exciting second half of the season, a bit of a retooled roster. Hopefully CJ Hinojosa and some of those other guys that we mentioned continue to lead the way. If
they continue to play like they are, I think they will. And many guys up there are talking about Andrew Suarez already getting the call up. That could be happening in the next couple of weeks too. So exciting to see.
A lot of movement in the system. Sam, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
More to come here on Flying Squirrels Insider. Richmond was on the road, and we take you a little bit behind the scenes as to what it looks like in Reading, Pennsylvania, a.k.a. Baseball Town. On the road again with the Richmond Flying Squirrels. Heading into the All-Star break, the Flying Squirrels went to Trenton, New Jersey and Reading, Pennsylvania, and I'm here in Reading, PA at First Energy Stadium, also known as America's Classic Ballpark or Baseball Town to the locals. Now this facility, built in 1951, holds a whole lot of history, and we're going to show you a little bit of that as well as some of the wackiness that goes on here during a Reading Fight and Phil's game. this ballpark has undergone some renovations over the years. The most recent one right behind me, the entrance to Baseball Town. $10 million was invested in this facility before the start of the 2011 season, and this acts as the gateway, the plaza, the entrance to Baseball Town, with a mascot band playing before games, a whole new bar and game area, and something that has a bit of a Richmond connection, the Reading Baseball Hall of Fame. Flying Squirrels executive Chuck Domino entered into the Hall of Fame here in 2010.
Chuck was the general manager years ago. I mean, he really helped elevate this place. A lot of what we do today is still courtesy of Chuck's teachings on how we implement our day-to-day routine and how things are promoted around here. So Chuck Domino's legacy lives large here in Baseball Town. There's a lot of rich history here, as this is our 51st season being affiliated with the Phillies. It's currently the longest affiliation between a parent club and a minor league team. But before then, too, the Boston Red Sox had an affiliation here, and even the Cleveland Indians as well. We wanted to take an area of this ballpark and pretty much recognize all the players that are currently in Cooperstown that have played here in America's Classic Ballpark. Going back to when this ballpark was around in the 50s, the likes of Juan Marichal, whether it was Billy Williams or Tim Rock Raines, you know, who was just inducted into the Hall of Fame, players like that, even going way back to Leon Day, who also got a chance to play here inside America's Classic Ballpark.
Now, aside from the numerous Hall of Famers for both away and home teams here at First Energy Stadium, the Reading Hall of Fame for players that actually suited up for the Reading team is pretty substantial as well, and it's honored and documented here in the plaza. You can see Roger Maris, 1955, Rapid Robin Roberts back in 1967 with the Reading Phils, and Broadway Charlie Wagner with the Red Sox and a Reading native as well. So guys that have come through this level are abundant that have made an impact at the big league level for both Reading, Cleveland, Boston, and numerous other teams in Major League Baseball.
You know, it's always fun being able to pitch here. Obviously, I grew up very close to the stadium, so it's always fun being able to play in something where you've seen all-stars and maybe Hall of Famers play too. I remember seeing Cole Hamels, and he was kind of one of my idols as I was going through all the draft process and everything. I kind of looked up to him. So I remember seeing him. I mean, Ryan Howard when he rehabbed here, all those guys, Chase Utley. I mean, it was pretty cool being able to see them here.
When people come here, they're seeing more than a baseball game. I mean, we are as over the top, and I say that in the most respectful and awesome way, because without the way we present ourselves, I don't know if we have the success we do. Our pool in right field, it's great because home run balls land into it all the time. So, you know, it gives kids a chance to get a souvenir, and then, you know, who knows, get an autograph at the end of the night. Just even from the veggie race, which we keep standings of, and fans actually keep track of whether cauliflower is winning or broccoli or carrot. It gets people on their feet every time it happens. We have a mascot band, whether, you know, it's Screwball and Drums, Bucky the Beaver, Change Up the Turtle. You know, it's just so much interaction that goes on here that we appeal to all ages, and I think that's what allowed Reading to have so much success here over the years. The Crazy Hot Dog Vendor is probably the most recognizable minor league mascot across the country. People get pumped every time he comes out, and he's riding his ostrich and he's throwing hot dogs in the stands. They even have me play a part of it. I have a net that I try to catch hot dogs wide in the air.
This area has grown to love the Crazy Hot Dog Vendor so much that kids dress up like him for Halloween. And in fact, some of the local party cities ran out of ostrich costumes over the years, and they've had to order more, leading the corporate department to ask, what's going on in Reading, Pennsylvania? Why are we selling so many ostrich costumes during Halloween? Well, speaking of being on the road, the Flying Squirrels picked up a few new players while they were away a couple of weeks ago, and were joined by one of the newest members of the Flying Squirrels bullpen, Seth Rosin. And Seth, thanks for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having me. Hi, everybody.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about, you know, who you are and how you, I guess, made your way back with the San Francisco Giants?
Well, originally I was drafted in 2010 by the San Francisco Giants, spent 2 years in their system, and then was traded to Philadelphia. And now I'm back here 5 years later, so really happy to be back.
And you were pitching for the St. Paul Saints in the independent ranks. We were talking about independent baseball earlier on. What was that experience like for you? And maybe give us a little brief overview about what is it for guys to maybe give them a second chance.
Mm-hmm. Well, St. Paul Saints is like 10 minutes from where I'm from, so that was a big key for me. to keep playing. I was thinking about maybe retiring, but the independent manager, George Samus there, gave me a call, and he really pressed the issue, like, hey, you can still live at home and play in front of friends and family. So gave it a try and did really well. And older guys like me, upper 20s, lower 30s, that's kind of a good league for them to keep playing and have scouts come and watch them. And the right guys came to see me on the right day, and now here I am.
You put up great numbers there. We've seen you in just a brief outing or two with the Flying Squirrels, but you look sharp as well. I guess physically at this point in your career, how do you feel?
I'm feeling pretty good. I was out in Seattle at that new drive line facility where they do a lot of the weighted ball stuff. So I gave that a try this offseason, and my velocity ticked up again and improved spin rate on all my pitches, so I'm feeling pretty good right now.
How would you characterize yourself as a pitcher? We've seen you get quite a few ground ball outs. Is that something that you pride yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I try to pitch down in the strike zone. Just keeping the ball in the ballpark is really key for a pitcher, especially as a relief pitcher. When you only pitch an inning at a time, giving up home runs is really bad. So I'm trying to keep the ball in the ballpark. And I really like my fastball. I rely on it a lot. So yeah, I would say my fastball is my best pitch, and I'm kind of a power pitcher.
Now you're a unique case. You do have big league experience. I think some Squirrels fans might remember your name back in 2011 when you were pitching at the lower levels of the Giants system and saying, hey, we might get Seth Rosin to pitch in Richmond at some point. And then 2012 hits, you're traded along with Tommy Joseph. Can you take us back to that moment and tell us what that experience was like for you?
Yeah, I mean, that was a bittersweet day. I loved playing with the Giants systems, and I was really comfortable there. And then I saw a couple of rumors online about my name and some trade talks with a couple different teams. The Giants are trying to make moves to make that World Series push. And yeah, I got a call on, I think it was August 1st at the trade deadline, and I saw Tommy and I were traded to the Philadelphia Phillies. And it was just kind of a strange day moving from California to Florida, having all my stuff in California and just making that adjustment.
And then not only were you traded, but then you were selected in the Rule 5 draft. And for those that don't know, the Rule 5 draft is if you're not on the 40-man roster, a team can take you, but they have to keep you on the big league roster for the entire season. So it, I guess, might mean that you're wanted by a couple of teams.
Yeah, so I mean, it basically is like getting traded all over again. Just trying to impress the new head management and just doing my best. And thankfully, I got an experience to go to Australia and pitch in the first series of the season against the Arizona Diamondbacks with the Dodgers. And that was an unbelievable trip. I got to bring my dad with me, so it was just a really fun time.
How do you, I guess, get acclimated with the new teammates? There's a couple of new Flying Squirrels on this team. How has that transition been for you in terms of getting to know some new players?
Well, I guess me being with 6 organizations, I kind of know a lot of the names and have played with a lot of the guys. So
and they know you.
Yep, and they know me as well. So it was kind of like walking into a familiar place, and this is my 3rd time in this league as well. So I know the ballpark pretty well, and didn't really feel like it was a new experience as much.
We're glad to have you here.
Oh, thank you.
All right, more to come on Flying Squirrels Insider.
You know, Gage has been doing well here for about 2.5 years, so, you know, it was time for him to move on and go up. He earned it. I think all of us, you know, we're all thankful to be an all-star, and if the time comes to where we get a chance to go up, you know, obviously we're going to make the most of that too.
Life's short. Play this game for a short period of time. You get the opportunity to go and be around caliber guys and have an opportunity to play in front of people. You take it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you love the game, you know, you never want to have a day off. So that's how I take it. Even when I have days off, you know, okay, you're down today because you pitched 2 days in a row or whatever it is. You know, I always want to be able to pitch the 3rd day. So 3 days off, you know, it's going to be fun to be there. The experience, I'm going to soak it in. But I'm sure a lot of us here will say we don't want any days off.
Nah, I'm just going to go out there and do like I do in regular BP. So I'm going to go out and have fun doing it. And, you know, I don't really think it messes with my swing in any way, shape, or form. it's an opportunity not to pass those up. And you know, you're only as good as where you are. And you know, for people that think that you know, a little bit of time in the big leagues makes things that are lower level not as fun, that's not really true for me. You know, it's an opportunity to be out here and play every day, and I try to never forget that.
You know, it's a great accomplishment. A lot of it has to do with, you know, a lot of help from my teammates, you know, but it feels humbling, and you know, we just want to keep going down this path of success, and you know, hopefully, you know, keep doing things right, and hopefully there's more success to come.
And for the bottom of the fourth inning, Tyler Sear of the Flying Squirrels is into the game. 3-2, got him on the outside corner. Oh, DeMars was headed to first, and he's punched out by Richard Riley. It was close pitch, 95 miles per hour. I think he got it right. Deep center field, Heathcott going back on it, just short of the warning track out near that triangle that we have in right center. Will reel it in, and that'll retire the side. 3 up, 3 down for the East. Played Heathcott as his second at bat. Richmond Flying Squirrel, and here's a grounder to third. Diving to his right is DeMars. He'll try to get the throw over in time. It hops in, but it's not there in time. Heathcott beat it out for an infield single.
All right, well, welcome back to FSI Field. It is demonstration time with pitcher Seth Rosin, and today we're going to go over what are known as PFPs, or pitcher fielding practice. And Seth, what are PFPs?
It's when you get a ground ball, or it's just a play where a pitcher makes to get an out.
So this is your time to shine defensively.
This is my time to shine, yep.
All right, so there's a couple basic PFP drills that we're going to go over today. What's the first one that you guys usually cover?
The most basic one is a comebacker, which the batter hits a ground ball to the pitcher. I field it. I get a four-seam grip, and I take a shuffle step and throw it and hit my first baseman right in the chest.
All right, well, let's see what that looks like. Let's recruit Sam Ravitch here to hit you one back to the mound. This is a ball back to the mound from the batter. Seth's got it over to our man Craig Keaton, who we recruited for this one as well. Now, the grip you mentioned, a four-seam grip. Why is that?
The four-seam grip has the truest path towards your target. It's going to go straight, whereas if you just pick it up and have any other kind of grip with it, it might sink, it might cut, it might do something that you don't want it to do. So the four-seam grip is when your fingers go across four seams, and you just throw it right to the first baseman, hit him right in the chest.
All right, so you want the ball to get there as straight as possible. You don't want to fool your first baseman. That's one of the PFPs. What's one of the other practices that we're looking at?
Another one that we're going to do, we'll have the first baseman off first base, and it'll be a ground ball that's hit right to the first baseman. I'm going to take a banana cut, and I'm going to cover first base. The first baseman's going to flip it to me. I'm going to touch the inside of the base, and then I'm going to get out of the way so I don't get run over.
Now, a few of those things are important. Why the banana cut, which is that curved
It's going to give you the best path to make sure you stay out of the baseline, which the baseline is the foul line right here, where the base runner has the clear path to it. So if you get in his way, it's going to be obstruction, and he's going to get first base.
All right, so let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Sam's back up. And here's a ground ball to first. Craig's going to field off the bag.
I'm going to take my banana cut. I'm going to follow. I'm going to touch first base. And I'm going to check the other runners. There might be a runner on second. There might be a runner on third. And I don't want them to keep running. So I'm going to make sure I see what they're doing.
How often during the week, say over a course of 7 days, are PFPs taken?
We probably do this twice a week for probably half an hour at a time.
Yeah. And there's a reason for it. Because you'll see those plays. They look routine. But during the game, sometimes things get out of order, I guess.
Yep, and that's when you see us on the Not Top 10 on Fridays on SportsCenter.
Quickly, how different is it if you have, say, a faster guy running in the left-hand batter's box where you have to adjust a little bit more?
Yep. I mean, you got to know your personnel. When you know there's a fast runner in there, you're going to have to make sure you run kind of more of a straighter line towards first instead of that banana cut, and you're going to touch and make sure you get out of the way.
Honestly, pitchers don't always love taking PFPs, do they?
No, it's kind of like going to the dentist. It's necessary, but nobody really likes to do it.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Craig, thanks for playing first base. Seth, thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
All right, that'll do it for us here from FSI Field. Thanks for joining us throughout the episode. We'll check you out next time. Big thanks to everybody here at the WCVE studios, including our director, Bryant Dameron. Until next week, I'm Jay Burnham saying so long, everybody.
Ground ball to short. He's fielded by Guillaume, and the All-Star game goes to the Eastern Division. Finish off a nice 7-1 win tonight over the West in the annual game. 1 run for the West in the second, and a 7th spot in the 6th for the Eastern Division. Back to total scorer right after this on the WCIR Fisher Cats Radio.
Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by
Smell gas? Act fast. Don't just stand there. Leave the area. Get out. Go where the smell is no longer present and call 911. Making you aware, keeping you safe. We're Richmond's Natural Gas Safety Awareness Program.
and by Medarva, providing mobile vision and hearing screenings to prepare preschoolers for kindergarten.